Hey everyone, today we're going to be talking about the effects of COVID-19 on grocery shopping in terms of the elderly space. So, why do we pick this topic? Well, COVID-19 is one of the big events of our time that has really affected retail behavior throughout a ton of different age groups. Specifically, with the effects of COVID-19 and associated diseases on the elderly population, we thought it'd be very important to see how shopping habits for an essential good like groceries have changed in this specific age group. And we thought it would provide useful information both for grocery chains and for marketers in general to better understand how to create better retail experiences for these groups of consumers. So, we will start off discussing what our comparison groups are. So, to compare through our market research, we'll be comparing the elderly, ages 65 and up, with our young and middle age group, ages 21 to 35. This will let us compare the differences in shopping habits created by the age group as opposed to those created by COVID 19. So, comparing the changes post COVID from the younger group, closer to our own age group between 21 and 35, and the elderly, which we'll go out and find through a mix of primary and secondary research.
So, a study by Liu monitored 18 elderly patients and 38 young to middle aged patients with COVID 19 and observed the course of disease. With all necessary equipment, 2 out of 38 young middle aged patients passed away, while only 1 out of 18 elderly patients passed away. The research just displays to us that although the elderly ages make them more susceptible to disease, young to middle age in this time are more or not equivalent to the risks the elderly carry. Despite the same risks, the symptoms that have developed in the elderly patients have caused them to be admitted into the ICU, have a decreased amount of white blood cells, and be on ventilators. This increases their hazard over the young to middle aged patients. In City News, Lavoir, a City News reporter, reports that many elderly people like Rogers Glenn Miller, an 82-year-old, feel as though, and I quote, if you did not have coronavirus before, you got it there, the grocery store, you probably got it now. And now health officials state, and I quote, that's even a better reason to try to isolate those who are most vulnerable, like the elderly, from younger people through dedicated shopping hours. These statements have now implemented in many decisions that grocery stores have made, such as Whole Foods and Walmart, to dedicate early morning shopping times for older customers to keep them safe. CBC News reports a woman, Mira, and her encounter with a couple in their 80s who heard the coronavirus was disproportionately affecting older people. And I quote, through a crack in the window, she handed me $100 bill and a grocery list and asked if I was willing to buy her groceries. This statement just further highlights the importance of separate shopping hours and the fears that elderly have taken in order to keep safe. Psychologists and researchers have found that the observed characteristic by elderly, the baby boomer generation, have been contradicted during this time. A study by Kohlberg and Hall described baby boomers to value promotions and to be strong-willed, as well as Gruel, who also describes baby boomers to be individualistic, keen on leisure, and a generation who always believes they can take care of themselves. These characteristics initially may have caused elderly to be stubborn and want to take control during this pandemic. However, health official suggestions, along with the fears of COVID 19, elderly have made the decision to stay home and wait for further instructions, unlike before.
For this project, we decided to go with a quantitative research format. We created a survey which contained various multiple choice questions related to consumer attitudes and behavior during this pandemic and distributed it using Facebook. The purpose of the survey was to prove our hypothesis that senior shopping behavior has been affected more than other demographics by this pandemic, mostly because of fear. To achieve this, we designed the survey in a way that asked seniors to compare their shopping behaviors before and after COVID 19. We also gave the same survey to a group consisting of individuals no older than 50. They worked as a comparison group to better highlight the effects of COVID 19 on senior shopping habits. For both groups, we had 50 respondents, giving us a total of 100 participants. Some limitations of this method are the fact that we could not have a deeper discussion with the participants about why these changes took place. Also, since the survey took place on Facebook, we can assume that the sample of seniors we had were more comfortable using technology and might not reflect the entire senior population. However, we believe the use of surveys better illustrates the differences between these groups, and conducting a survey in person right now is quite frankly impossible. Some of the highlights of our research are as follows. First, we found out that only 44% of senior shoppers were aware of online delivery services like Instacart, and of this, roughly 36% have used this service before. Now, if we look at our comparison group, 88% have heard about online delivery, and roughly 48% have used it. The data suggests that seniors are not receiving information about online delivery quite as much as the younger generation, and are also less likely to act and use these services. Also, 30% of seniors said they thought about the possibility of catching COVID-19 sometimes, and 52% said often or all the time. While the comparison group, 42% said they thought of it sometimes, and 30% often or all the time. Seniors seem to be more stressed out about the state of things than the younger generation, and the looming threat of the virus is renting more space in their mind. It also seems that in-person shopping has dropped more drastically with seniors. 96% of seniors used to shop in person, but now only 11 do. Instead, they're relying on their loved ones or getting their groceries delivered directly from the store. For our comparison group, 70% were shopping in person since the pandemic, and 70% are shopping in person still now. Finally, 84% of seniors said they will resume shopping in person once the coast is clear, and 76% of the younger group said the same. We can see here without a doubt that COVID-19 fear is affecting seniors more than the rest of the population, since the threat of it is preventing them from continuing their preferred grocery shopping method.
After gathering information from our primary and secondary research, we have seen that many seniors go grocery shopping in person while others prefer getting their groceries delivered to their doors because of fear. We have noticed that many are tech savvy and already know about online platforms and delivery services from grocery stores. However, many of them are still suffering and don't have enough information and access to resources available to them. We have thus gathered the following suggestions that might help the elderly during this pandemic. Firstly, we would like to educate those who are already grocery shopping in person. According to Public Health, the FDA, CTV News, amongst others, people who go grocery shopping should do the following to shop safely and risk free. Secondly, they could attend grocery shops at specific hours which are dedicated for seniors only, usually 7 to 8 a.m. in most big grocery stores. Other thing that they can do is asking their family members or close relatives to shop for them. Thirdly, educating our seniors is a must. And that way, they will be able to order online from their favorite shops and also discover online services such as Instacart, Amazon Fresh, or other meal kit services such as HelloFresh. Lastly, we could offer them resources such as verified volunteers. Many NGOs have been formed where they employ young people as volunteers to deliver foods to door. They will be fully gloved, fully protected, and have specific instructions for social distancing and shop safely.
So, our hypothesis that senior shopping habits have changed more than the younger people due to COVID has been justified based on our primary and secondary research. And because seniors are more vulnerable to the virus, they do have to be extremely careful more than any other age group. And this is the main reason why their shopping habits have changed more than the younger people. It's definitely harder for seniors to adapt to such changes in a short amount of time. And as we've discussed, they do like to go shopping in person. They prefer in person interactions rather than online, and this may be one of the reasons why it's hard for them to just allow a family member or anyone else for that matter to do the shopping for them. But the essential thing, the important thing is that other age groups must be educated about the current situation and the health and safety procedures that need to be followed while shopping. And of course, it has affected all age groups. It's just that seniors are more at risk. But businesses have adjusted the way they operate their businesses to help seniors from being exposed to a larger risk. And it's definitely a great way to provide a customized experience for that specific consumer group, but also advertise the company in a good light. And of course, these changes will take longer for seniors to adapt to. But the important thing is that they have options of how to do their shopping in different ways depending on what they're more comfortable with. And if they need help, it will be provided to them.